Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And today we're taking a look at another one of the armor pieces that got buffed this season. Today we're taking a look at the Shards of Galanor. These gauntlets are all about spamming supers, getting kills with your super, and then supering again. And while they've always been kind of okay at doing it, with the buff that they got this season, they'll definitely be the go-to exotic for just spamming supers. So let's take a look at what the buff was. So the buff is pretty simple. Throwing knife kills now grants super energy ranging from 2.5% to 5% depending on the type of combatant killed. So if you kill the yellow bar, you're going to get more percentage than if you just kill a red bar. And this buff is definitely what this exotic needed. This exotic needed a way to finish the rest of the super bar. Because it was great that you got like half your super back, but then you would have to get like the other half normally. But now with this, you can use focus on throwing knives and build up your super pretty quickly, so you can get to a full super and just super something else whenever you need it. Basically, you can go around supering every big enemy you find, getting half your super back, and then just killing a bunch of you small lads with your throwing knives, so you can have a super back whenever you find another big guy. It is a really nice and fun loop, and with the right fragments, we can make sure we always have throwing knives, so we can always be building that super. So far, I've really been enjoying this new Shards of Galanor. I actually think that the shards make Blade Barrage much better now. Sure, Blade Barrage doesn't have some super high damage. You're not going to be one-shotting champions with the Blade Barrage, but it does chunk champions quite a bit. Gets them pretty low, and with how often it is up, thanks to the Shards of Galanor, you could pretty much use super every single champion you run into, as long as you're getting enough knife kills. That is going to be the thing. You definitely have to just focus on throwing knives. If you are somebody that already likes throwing knives and likes throwing knife builds, then this is perfect. You don't even have to change anything. You just play like normal with your throwing knives, and then you just get to super a bunch as a result of it. If you guys don't play with throwing knives as much, it might take a little bit to get used to, but don't worry, the fragments that we're running today will make sure that even if you miss throwing knives completely, you're always going to have a backup plan so you can get some more knives. But without further ado, now let's go on. Let's make a build with this thing. Alright, here we are. And like always, we're going to be starting up with the subclass. We are on the Blade Barrage because, Shards of Galanor only works with Blade Barrage. For the dodge, we're actually running Gambler's Dodge. So we can get our knives back if we ever lose them, just by dodging next to an enemy. For the knife, we're running the Knife Trick. Knife Trick has a couple really good things. It can hit multiple targets, it can scorch multiple targets, and it's very easy to hit somebody because you just throw 3 different knives out, and as long as 1 or 2 of them hits an enemy, depending on where it hits them and how healthy they are, it'll probably kill them. For higher level activities, you'll probably need 2 knives instead of just 1, or a knife to hit in the head. But it should be, for the most part, pretty easy to get some kills with the Knife Trick. We're running the Healing Nade because healing is OP. We got On Your Mark and Knock Them Down. Knock Them Down is going to make it so our Blade Barrage just has more projectiles. And while Radiant, we also get our Throwing Knife back if we get a kill with it. On Your Mark is just amazing. Fragment slots, handling, reload speed is just a really good one. For the fragments, we got Sinjin to get some class ability recharge whenever we scorch targets. This is going to make it so we always have our class ability up. Torches will allow us to be Radiant whenever we hit someone with our throwing knives, meaning that being Radiant is going to be pretty easy, even without having the Radiant dodge. Next up, we have Syrian, which is the one that I'm not completely sold on. Whenever we kill a scorched target, we get some melee energy back, and we also create a Fire Sprite. The Fire Sprite is great. But we should already have enough energy by this point, melee energy, so we shouldn't really need that, but we just have it just in case. Next up, we have Mercy. This one is for survivability. Whenever we pick up Fire Sprite, we get Restoration, and whenever we revive a teammate, we also get Restoration. This is really good just for kind of staying alive, and it's just another way to get some more Restoration. It's just an amazing fragment. It allows us to extend our Restoration and Radiant whenever we get a kill with an ability or a solar weapon. We're going to be getting tons of ability kills. We're also Gonna be running hopefully a solar weapon. So this thing is always gonna be helping us keep the restoration, so we are always healing, and keep that radiant, so we always have the extra damage. For the weapon, I recommend that you actually have a weapon with incandescent. It doesn't really have to be the sand cannon. It can be any weapon with incandescent. I just kind of been using this one because I figure since this is a weapon that's like fairly available to everyone as long as they have Lightful. Most of you guys probably have this weapon, so I'm using this. And with the hand cannon buff, this thing actually feels pretty good. Now moving on to the mods. For the helmet, we got a harmonic siphon, so you can make some more with our solar weapon. And also we have hands on, so we can get a bit more energy out of our melee kills. On the main star of the show, the gauntlets, we got heavy handed and focusing strike. Focusing strike is going to give us some class ability energy whenever we hit anything with our power melee, and heavy handed will make it so we make orbs of light with our power melee. Now moving on to the leg armor, we have innervation to reduce our grenade cooldown with orbs of power. We have our scavenger, whatever scavenger matches your heavy, and then better already or recuperation, whichever you like better. You know, it's just something to help you heal. Probably recuperation I find to be a little bit more useful in like PvE, but whichever you end up liking. I know people have their preferences when it comes to like recuperation and better already. And lastly, for our cloak, we have outreach, bomber, and distribution. It reduces all of our cooldowns whenever we dodge next to an enemy. So just to kind of keep our cooldowns low, that's what it is. And that's it. That's the build right there, boys. It's all about spamming them supers. Just make sure that after you spam your super, try to get a couple of melee kills. You don't have to go fully into the melee, but it does help getting it back faster. But even if you don't go fully into it, as long as you're getting a couple of melee kills every now and then, you're gonna see it makes quite a difference when it comes to like how fast you get your super. You also have some pretty good survivability with like the constant restoration and all the orbs. But yeah, hopefully you guys will give this build a try. Hopefully you guys like it. I've been enjoying it in the coil. I definitely recommend you take it in there and play around with it, get used to it. Maybe doing the knives, if you don't do the knives too often, might be a little weird. Might take a little bit to get used to, you know, having to get a couple more knife kills. But you get used to it and you can work it around into your gameplay and really just make the most out of the shards. Anyways, thank you for stopping by today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.